Welcome back, viewers. I know it's been a while since I posted, but it has been raining non-stop. Finally got a break in the rain, got some nice sunshine outside, actually feeling a little bit warm. So started back working on the house some. I haven't totally given up on it yet. Done quite a bit of work off camera. I'll get you up to speed real quick. I went ahead and pulled out the duct over here in the corner, and I discovered that when they were installing the central heating and air, they cut about half of the thickness of the rim joist out to run the ductwork, which pretty much compromised that right there on the edge of that ledge. The rotted old rim joist has been removed, that section. It is horrible. I don't know how it was even holding up itself in place. I've removed three more joists. This one I've got jacked up. I cut the end off of it because these electrical wiring, the wiring's on. I don't want to mess with the wiring right now because these wires are for the porch light and for the overhead light here in the living room, and I don't want to have that turned off. And moving all this is going to be pulled out and redone anyway. As you see, that is a horrible old metal box and metal conduit on it. So all that's going to be updated with new wiring and new switch boxes, etc. The rim joist, I found more damage, of course. The rim joist, this back piece closest to the brick, is just full of rot and termite damage on back across the front of the living room. There was no kind of barrier between the brickwork and the joist. From videos back in, there's a video on YouTube. It's a 1950s brick house being built, and I believe it's somewhere in California or something. But this is close as I can find to the way this brick house was made. How they have these little ledgers here that come off of the outer wall, and basically the whole house is suspended on these, and they're roughly every, I don't know, 6-7 feet, maybe 8 feet, spaced around underneath the house and around the perimeter of the brick wall, holding up basically the entire stick framed up structure. So what I'm gonna do, back to that video, when they were showing these kind of houses being built with this little ledger and everything, they were putting either lead or tin or some kind of sheet metal as, I guess, a vapor barrier to keep moisture from pulling from the mortar and the brick into the wood. So before I put this new pressure treated 2x10s I've got here that I'm going to cut down and put in here for this rim joist, I've got some black plastic sheathing that I was going to use for a vapor barrier underneath the house once I've got most of this structural issues figured out, and dug this out a bit deeper because it is far too small and claustrophobic of a crawl space for me. So I'm going to dig it down about 3 or 4 feet, leaving plenty of room between the outer wall. I'm not going to dig right up to the wall. I'm not an idiot. I know that'll compromise that the foundation. From what I've heard, it's about 3 feet in is the general rule of thumb to leave the soil undisturbed before you start digging in or digging out. This bottom plate is going to have to be replaced. It has got a lot of rot, and it is snapped right there, doing fat to the part of this rim joist falling down, and basically the entire weight of this front wall and the ceiling above and the roof pushing down on this bottom plate because there was no support from underneath from the rim joist. Probably going to notch out the new 2x10s just so I don't have to mess with this right now. That is going to be redone. I'm not going to run the wiring under the floor here as it's done. This wire is obsolete at the moment. It actually, from what I see, it looks like it just runs straight into the dirt. There used to be a light fixture at the end of this walkway here at the driveway, and I'm pretty sure it goes out to that light fixture, which that's pretty sketchy to me that it's just buried in the dirt. Hopefully there's some kind of PVC pipe or a lead pipe or something that is in. I'd hate to think that electrical wire is just straight in the dirt, but whatever. It looks like it's a little more modern than the rest of this because it looks like it's got plastic sheathing on it, where this is older cloth base fiber, the original from the 50s. But yeah, just catching up to speed a little bit. Got that rafter removed one here and one over there. This is a little concerning to me. I pulled that leisure board off where they were notching out the joist to rest it on it. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna put back joist hangers so I can put the full length of the joist there without having to notch out 2x4 section for it to rest on, which, you know, weakens your 2x10 joist. So, but there was a lot of rot in it, but there is still rot here. This is a tripled up 2x8 2x10 here, and all 3 plates at the bottom, mainly in this center run, have rot and mold in them. But they're not terrible. Most of it's good wood. So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe sistering on a 2x10. There's just a little bit of ledger there. There's quite a bit here. I don't know how square this house was built, or if it's, you know, shifting over time. But as you see, this one here's got rot in it, and it runs full length from here to here. So there's plenty of ledge here and here to sister one onto the outside. The problem is it's not directly under the wall, so it wouldn't really give any support. So that's not going to help me out any unless I can put it in there and then knock the one out from the other side, push this one into place of that one, and then, you know, remove it that way. But that's not going to be the way to do it, I'm sure, and that's not the way to do it. Pretty sure this is a non-load bearing wall because it runs in line with the floor joist and the ceiling rafters. So this one probably won't be too hard to jack up and get that replaced, but it runs all the way down here to this corner where this vent was for the HVAC, and it is horrible in this corner. I know you're not going to be able to see real well. Let me get the flashlight out. But 10 tons of rot over here. Not a great sight. Looks like that there was a breakdown in the moisture barrier between the masonry and the framing, and all of that is severely rotted out in that corner there. But it looks like it runs the length at least into the master bedroom. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. At this point, it's kind of looking like I probably just need to gut the entire house and build it back on the standing foundation. But there's a ton of good wood, and I mean, the 99% of the house is structurally sound and solid and rot free. It's just the foundation, but everything sits on it. So it might be better just to take it from the roof down and then build back from the ground up than try to pull the tablecloth out from under everything, so to say. So just getting you caught up right quick. What I'm gonna do now is I got the Sawzall there. I'm gonna go and cut all of these nails that are protruding from the wall bottom plates. I'm gonna take my measurements. I'm gonna put some, well, there's where our water was getting in there and there, rotting out. That's gonna have to be dealt with. Gonna put some plastic sheathing on top of that and that pillar to act as a vapor barrier, moisture barrier to this new joist I'm gonna put in, and then I'm gonna try to slide it in there. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to jack up this wall a bit to get it under there. It might just squeeze in there with a little bit of hammering on each side, but I'm not sure yet, so cross that bridge when we get there. All right, got all the nails cut off and cleaned up on these bottom plates. All right, got the 6 mil plastic in place. I cut this one a little short because when I replace this one, I'm gonna run this one a little long into this one, and I'm gonna have this one a little forward, so they kind of interlock. Hopefully that works out. Plus I cut this one back a little bit further because it was they were meeting off center. This one was about 3/4 of the way over instead of about in the halfway region. So look at there, we got the first piece in of our rotted out rim joist. No more. Now we're trying to attach good wood to rotted wood over here. That's gonna be fun. But yes, we're hovering, but we gotta take into account the gap for the subfloor. So I guess I'm gonna have to make a trip to Home Depot in the morning and get some plywood. No, I gotta put floor joist in first. I'm getting way ahead of myself, and I got to replace that rotten bottom plate. So plywood is the least of my worries at the moment. I'm getting a little too optimistic for right now. After replacing one piece of rotted rim joist, is probably the smallest section in the entire house. So, but whatever, small victory. So let's see if we can get this second piece cut and in there. I am going to have to notch it for these power wire. Well, that's not even going to work because when I put the subfloor back in there, well, I could notch the subfloor and slide it. I need to take all this out. This doesn't need to be in the floor anyway. It needs to be run through the ceiling like the rest of the electrical is. So, what to do? Like I said, I'm pretty sure I can just take this one out without any issue, because it is hooked to nothing. It's hooked to a switch and hooked to a light fixture that's no longer here. This one, I'm half tempted to cut this bottom plate here and just pull it through and then deal with it later, since this bottom plate and this joist here beside the door, all this is rotted and needs to be replaced anyway. So I think that's what I'm actually gonna do, because as you can see, there's a big crack in this bottom plate and there's a big pile of rot right there, so it's no good. So there's no point, there's no worry in me cutting this. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut here, pull these wires out, put the second rim joist in, nail this all together, and probably call it a day. It's 5 after 5 right now, so. Alrighty. This booger is in here. Look at there, our doorway's now supported, although that needs to be replaced because that's all rotted. But our bottom plate is hovering because there's no subfloor taking up this gap here. But looking miles and miles better than it was. Now that I got that old rim joist out, here you can get a far better look at it and just how gross and decrepit it was. I mean, it wasn't just water damage. It looks like termites had gotten in here too. This is the back side of it that was facing the masonry. And as you can see, it was gone. Big time. Even look at that. It's just destroyed. Nothing left. I don't even know how it was holding up the joist still. How it hadn't just completely crumbled to nothing. But yeah. So we are miles better. Miles better. So, I mean, no cause for celebration yet, but it's a small victory nonetheless. So, I guess we'll end the video here. I'm gonna get packed up and head to the house and get me some dinner. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.